I'm Christine Persichetti with this Currents News update. The Diocese of Brooklyn is preparing for another school year without city or state funding for COVID supplies. Reimbursements have yet to come in, so the diocese is getting creative once again. Currents News' Jessica Easthope reports.
Awesome.
Every mask, every temperature check, every pump of hand sanitizer adds up.
How do you feel today, Sophia?
Last year, Catholic schools in the Diocese of Brooklyn stayed open for in-person learning, but protecting students, teachers, and staff members got costly.
Unlike the DOE and all that cost a lot of money, money that we didn't have.
It cost more than $3,000 a day to keep Our Lady of Sorrows Catholic Academy open during the pandemic.
Close all the gates and doors.
Principal Christina Tancredi Cruz says even though the school is in the heart of Corona, Queens, one of the hardest hit areas, closing wasn't an option.
It's extremely frustrating because we really care. And actually, we received a lot of families from the public school system because they weren't opening.
All 69 schools in the diocese applied for funds to stay open, and testing was done through SOMOS. But they're still waiting on reimbursement from FEMA for equipment public schools got for free.
It was disheartening. We did push the city a number of times to reimburse us or to work with us, but sadly, that fell on deaf ears.
School superintendent Dr. Thomas Chadzuko says staying open was a massive undertaking. Now, without reimbursement, many schools are faced with tough choices.
We'll have to figure it out like we always do, whether it means cutting back in one area, most likely in staffing, in order to be able to purchase the things that we have to, and I'm talking the bare necessities.
FEMA said it would be 6 months to a year before any reimbursements would come in. Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
The World Health Organization is calling on wealthier nations to temporarily suspend COVID-19 booster shots. The head of the WHO expressing concerns over vaccine inequalities, saying booster shots could limit the supply of vaccines for countries still struggling to provide first and second doses. Likewise, Pope Francis is calling for equal access to vaccines. Last week, he released a global PSA urging the faithful to get the shot, calling it an act of love. Meanwhile, some New York business owners are pushing back against Mayor Bill de Blasio's vaccine mandate that will be fully enforced starting September 13th. As our Emily Druby reports, these owners say they can't afford to turn away unvaccinated customers.
We'll take a blueberry, a cherry, and an apple.
Pasticceria Rocco is saying no to the New York City vaccine-proof mandate, solidifying their stance with the giant sign in the window of their Bay Ridge pastry shop.
It's completely wrong, and honestly, I think it's unconstitutional.
It's a new city policy. For indoor dining, fitness, or entertainment, patrons must show proof of at least one COVID-19 jab before taking part.
Asking me to go ahead and discriminate somebody based on their vaccine status, which is completely insane to me.
Mary Josephine Generoso, a Catholic and the manager of Rocco's, adds this is not about how she feels about the vaccine. It's about people's right to choose.
I think it's segregating people, it's discriminating people. On the face of it, that's not how I was taught as a little girl. We're supposed to be inclusive. We're supposed to unite people. We're not supposed to separate them.
Customer Aaron Lapira agrees. The Long Islander came to the Brooklyn shop after learning about it on social media.
More businesses have to do this. More businesses have to jump on board. We should be able to make our own decisions and choices and really weigh the pros and cons to, getting out of this.
Not everyone likes the decision Rocco's has made, many expressing their anger on social media. The mayor also reacting.
It's not discrimination. This is about protecting people.
Mary says they'll take the fines as they come. They're also part of a lawsuit against the policy. In Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, Emily Druby, Currents News.
President Biden says the August 31st deadline for leaving Afghanistan is not necessarily set in stone. He's asked the Pentagon and State Department for contingency plans to extend our stay if necessary.
The completion by August 31st depends upon the Taliban continuing to cooperate and allow access to the airport for those who were transporting out.
The Pentagon says flights carrying some 5,000 people each have been leaving Kabul roughly every 40 minutes. We've been telling you about Bishop DiMarzio's appeal to churches here in the diocese to take up a special collection for relief efforts in Haiti, or that you can donate directly to the Compostela Fund. So we asked the bishop, what is that fund?
Compostela Fund is kind of like a bank for the diocese, where we deposit money and it's invested, and then we have access to it.
The money will go directly to a co-op between U.S. and Haitian bishops to build new structures. The fund was used to build some 35 structures, including churches and schools, after the 2010 earthquake in Haiti. If you want to donate, make your checks payable to Compostela Fund of the Archdiocese of Brooklyn, and be sure to write Haiti 2021 on your check. Then mail it to the Diocese Finance Office, 310 Prospect Park West, Brooklyn 11215. Or you can donate online at catholicfoundationbq.org/Haiti. That is this Currents News Update. The newscast will be back to its full length this fall when we move to our news studio. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news.